Hello and welcome to this video on a new way of planning that I found. I'm Julianne with Life Edit and Design, and you know I'm a Notion girl. I love Notion. And let me just kind of push myself over the way here. But I found a way to do some planning in Canva that I really, really love. I like paper planners because you can kind of it's more tangible and you can really get a feel for your day because you have the spaced out plan in front of you of all the hours, and I just like that. But I can't customize a paper planner, and that drives me nuts. I'd like things to be the way I want them. I want to be able to ask questions, and paper planners just don't work that way. And then I have my Notion planner, which I had set up and I have it designed and I have the questions, but it still just doesn't give me that spaced out feeling of a paper planner as far as all the hours of the day and just that structure, because I can open and close and move things. And sometimes you just want a little more structure. And so I found a way to do it on Canva that I love. And so I found the document. So if you use a document and you create it as a master template, a brand template, excuse me, that's what they would use. You create it as a brand template, and then you just use this template. And every time you click on this, use this brand template, it will create a blank copy of it. So you line up your template just the way you want it to look with the questions you want, the layout you want, and all of a sudden you now have a template that you can use personally each time. So each week you create a new template. So here is my week of, and then I have the questions I want, which is, what is my primary question? This is the question that I kind of go by every day. And then I put in what are my focus areas for the week? And I'll jump over to, this is the one I filled out, so it makes a little more sense. So I can put in, I love you can put in this date field, so you can actually pick the date. So it's the week of, and it's week number 35. And then my question, my primary question that I'm always asking myself is, how can I serve and help heal the world? So that whole idea of the joyful ripples, creating joy for people will then create their ripple, which will help other people. And then what are my focus areas for the week? So what I like is that you can have more or less. So like a paper version, right, you're very stuck. But this, if I just keep adding a checkbox, if I were to add a new line, I'd get a new checkbox. So I like that it's flexible in that way, and you can see that it moved the page down for me. So again, you can't do that with a paper planner. That I think is just so cool. Gives me an extra space that I want, and I can make my own check boxes, and those are my focus areas for the week. And then I took each area, so this is the main area that I'm talking about, and then for each of these areas, I then broke it down into a question box to say, okay, in this area, what is my goals, what are the things I need to work on? Again, keeping my primary question. So when I approach planning, it's not so much to-dos and tacticals, it's more how do I fill my mission through my work, through my volunteering at the library, through my wardrobe, through my workouts. How am I being the most joyful version of myself so that I can kind of put that out to the world and create a ripple of joy. So these were just all my personal answers. But again, looking at each area that I want to focus on this week and what I need to do. And then down below, I create my own scorecard section. So I score my week as to, how good a week was it? Again, not focused on how well I did the laundry or how well I ran my to-dos, but, how well did I contribute? How well did I use my energy? How was my attitude? How was my health? And so I give myself a goal, this is what I want my week to be like. So as I'm going through my week, I can be if I want my contribution to be a 5, what does that look like? What do I have to do? And then at the end of the week, I'll come back and I'll score that. And then, what could have made this week 1% better? These are the questions that I ask myself. But again, I love that you could change this question. So later on, if this question isn't serving me, I can go in and change it. And as much as I write here, this will keep making the section bigger and bigger for me, which again, I love that it expands. So I can write a lot or a little, and my page isn't messy. I'm not crossing out. I'm not drawing arrows. I love this. So these were all my questions that I ask myself each week at the end of the week. And so then I took the same format and I went over and I created a daily planner. So I have a daily version that matches, again, created the theme. And if you go over and you look at I also created a fall one. So I could change the header and change the colors and make it fall, which I loved. And so when I want to use it, again, I just create my own version. And am I in the master? I'm in the master. We don't want to change the master. I want to do a copy of it. So if I go here, just make sure you're not writing over it. So you want to use this brand template. So when I click the use the brand template, I'm not editing the master. So you can see it's copy of. So make sure you do copy of. And then I can go through and I can again pick the date. So today is, let's start something. There we go. So there's Monday, and I can even write the word Monday if it makes me feel better. And then again, I'd write my primary question. How can I serve through joy? So I can always change up the question each day. Oops, joy. And then go through it. And I do have a brain dump because sometimes I can't think. I can't get to the good stuff because I have these pesky little things like, oh, don't forget to go do this, this, this. So that's where I drop some of that pesky little tactical stuff right here. And then I go back into the deep thinking and I go through. And again, I ask myself a whole series of questions that I want to help me set up my best part of my day. And then here I have my schedule. This is the part I was talking about. Like, I would like to just see, like, if I'm doing certain things, like if so at 8 o'clock I went for a walk. And you can add half hours. So if I wanted to put things in and break it into 30-minute increments, I can. So I could just do a walk and morning plan. So we'll do morning routine. So I can kind of just change things up. Again, if one day you start your day earlier, one day you end your day later, each day doesn't have to be the same. So with paper, it's always like you're stuck with that structure. But here, if I wanted to add, let's say I wanted to add to 10:30. So I can click here and I can add a row. And now I can make this 10:30. So if there was something going on at that time, but I didn't want that every day, I could keep it that, I could just add where I need to, or I can go back and change the master template so that when I make copies, I have all the half hours. So it's really up to you how you want to do it. If you do here and you do checkbox, it'll give you that checkbox. So this is just so flexible. And at the end of the day, these are the questions I ask myself at the end of the day to complete the day. So I just love this way of using, they're called doc templates. And you can only use this with the pro version of Canva. You can't use it, unfortunately, with the free version, and you cannot make templates to give other people, which really stinks because I would love to share this with you, but there is absolutely no way to share this except with people who are using your own account, like people on your team, but you can't share this with the public. So hopefully that will change. But if you want to do this for yourself, let's create a new. You want to create a document type, right? So when you're creating a document, make sure you pick document type. And then when you go over to templates, and you can pick weekly, let's try weekly planner. You can see this, the ones that I've done. So if you come over here and you do see all, so it's going to give you some document templates, and you can see all, and let me move myself over. These will at least give you some starting places. So you're going to want to customize it again for you, because that's the whole point, right? To make it tailored to you. But they give you some ideas where to start with, and that's a great place to kind of jump up and pick one. So you could pick this one if you wanted to. And it's going to drop it in. So this is a meal planning one, but it gives you the idea. Then you go in and you customize it to do the way you want it to work. But it's a feature that I didn't even know it was there, and I hadn't thought about how I can use it. But now that I'm using it, I absolutely love doing my weekly planning here. So I still use Notion. I have not changed that, but I definitely use this weekly planner because for me, it's just, I love how neat it is, and that it expands when I need to expand, and I can still check boxes, which I really love, and then I come back and do the scorecard, and I can make it pretty. I think that's the one thing about Notion is I can't make it pretty. I can't add all the colors and just line things up just like this. I can't do that yet in Notion. So maybe one day it'll get really pretty. But so if you need that graphic design look and you want the flexibility, this is a great way to go. So again, it's a Canva doc. Again, only for pro users, and you cannot share it, sadly. So that's it for me today. I hope that this gives you some inspiration. And if you have questions, put them in the comments box. I'm happy to answer them and help you build your own custom weekly and daily planners, because they're really fun. Again, you can change it up for the seasons. You can really have a great time. So it's really limited by your imagination. So if you're a Canva lover, this is a great way to do your weekly and your daily planning. All right, this is Julianne, and I'll see you next time.